that's very suspicious, because this is like the best of what we have. Why did they take it down when we really need to be watching for some objects? I mean, it was only up for like, I think it went up on in 2009, and it found more comets and more things than any of the other telescopes prior to it. It's leaps and bounds ahead of anything else we had, and they pulled it offline. Okay. Some of the things that I'm going to show you tonight, just so you know, if I had the ability to use my laptop up here and go live, there wouldn't be videos. But because I don't have that ability, I just made videos. Does that make sense? So, okay.
They've given me a few minutes just to talk to all of you in our NASA family about emergency preparedness. NASA recently participated in a FEMA exercise called Eagle Horizon that was a part of a continuity of operations and government exercise that we do annually. And I became aware of some things that concern me about our family preparedness, and I wanted to talk to you very briefly. You know, we in NASA, we're an incredibly unique organization. We're the only agency in the federal government that's responsible for the safety and well-being of people not only here on Earth, but off this planet. So my experience in the astronaut office, my experience as an active duty Marine, always talked about the importance of family preparedness and to make sure that we had a viable family support program. And I have concerns that ours right now is not as good as it ought to be. So what I'm asking all of you in the NASA family, whether you're out on the West Coast, here on the East Coast, along the Gulf Coast, up on the Great Lakes, think about the natural disasters that could occur in your area. Think about attacks that could come like 9/11 from outside forces, and talk to your family about your work and what they need to do to prepare for the unforeseen. Develop a family preparedness plan in your house. Have an emergency supply kit available. Most people who live along the Gulf Coast always have an emergency kit for hurricanes. I'm not sure whether people out on the West Coast think about earthquakes and the like, but have an emergency supply kit at your home. Think about a family communications plan. Where are we going to meet if an emergency occurs and we're all over town? What are we going to do? Are we going to call each other on the cell phone? Just think about those things. If you have pets, think about a pet preparedness plan. How are you going to make sure that they're taken care of when you're spread all over the place? And then if you have family members who have special needs preparedness. The most important asset for us to successfully complete our mission is that our people, our families mainly, are taken care of so that we can come to work and feel good that if an emergency arises, our families are going to be taken care of. So I would ask you again, sit with your families, think about what you would do in an emergency situation. I hope that you'll embrace and support the Family Preparedness Program as we all get better prepared to deal with these emergencies. Know your stuff. You know what it is that you're going to do, know what it is that you want your family to do if an emergency arises. But most of all, be prepared.
All right, cool. So that's NASA warning their employees. And then this letter came out on October 15th of 2010. And so this is just before they took WISE telescope offline. This is a White House letter, and it's a 10-page document. You can actually find it on Scribe if you're interested. But it talks about near-Earth objects, NEOs. And it has a whole description of the urgency of near-Earth objects, and you can look at it. And this was a big deal. This is, when you look at blogs, you go, oh, okay, this letter was a big deal. So if you do more research, you'll find that that is, in fact, something of concern. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about solar storms or solar flares. If you do research, most of the solar flares that are coming off the sun right now, they're coming away from the Earth. They're going out into space, which is good for us. The question is why? What's causing the sun to have some sort of electric energy that takes that energy from the sun away from us? What is going on? So think about that. Start processing, okay, why would the sun be acting differently than it ever has before? All right, so here's where I said, okay, if we had a computer, I would just do this up here, but I actually record this. Thank you, Jay, for all your help, by the way. All right, as we search further into trying to discover exactly what's going on with Comet Elenin, if you go onto a Google search engine and you just type in Elenin space site space NASA.gov and hit enter, The very top window that appears, click on that. It's got this 11133. And when you open that, we're still on nasa.gov up here. You can see we're at nasa.gov. And so this is got a number of 11133. And it has to do with Comet Elenin. It's got the alleged astronomer that found Comet Elenin from Russia. And so what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this number, 11133. I'm going to go back to Google, and I'm going to replace the word Elenin now with that number. And now hit enter. And the very top site that comes up now, I want you to click on that. And then you have a box like this that shows up. Now, before you start all this, I want to make sure that you know to have Google Earth open. So under this Open With, hit the Browse button, and we're going to open with Google Earth, and we're going to see what happens. It's very strange. So check it out. You see this huge red X appear right off the coast of Kamchatka in the Pacific Ocean. So to give you a little bit more reference, here's the Pacific Ocean, here's Kamchatka. If you go down here, here's Japan. But for some reason, this red X in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Kamchatka is tied to Comet Elenin right off of nasa.gov's website. And for some reason, when you enter that into Google Earth, it puts you right off the coast of Kamchatka. It's very strange. So we don't know why, but this is just trying to figure out the truth behind what's going on right now. Is that interesting? Am I like the only one that goes, what? Okay, so here is, who's heard of ready.gov? You guys seen the commercials? Okay, so they're all, the government says, okay, be prepared for a disaster, be prepared. But then you look at this commercial they put out and you go, how do I prepare for that? All right, so check out this commercial.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
Okay, so basically we're seeing a scenario where they lost gravity. Not sure why that had ever happened, except for once I researched, I go, oh, really? Okay, so I don't know. I'm just starting to see a picture and I'm going, are you guys being straight? Are you guys telling us everything that we need to know? So here's another deal that is quite interesting. Has anyone not heard about the alignments with Comet Elenin and the dates of the earthquakes that have happened? Have you guys heard about that, or do you? Yeah, have you heard about all this? So I'm going to run you through this whole thing, and like I said, I would have done this live if we had the ability to do that, so I just made a video. So, okay, so as you research Elenin, one of the things you'll find on some YouTube videos, you'll see some people pulling up a diagram, an orbit diagram, where they can actually move Elenin themselves. So I want to show you how to pull that up. So if you pull up Google and type in Elenin, orbit diagram, NASA. Once you have that in your search window, then scroll down and you're going to see there's a couple videos, and underneath those videos you're going to see Elenin's cosmic name C/2010 space X1 Elenin. Click on that and you're going to go to a nasa.gov website, And here you're going to want to make sure that your JavaScript is enabled, and then click on this Show Orbit Diagram. And when you click on that, you're going to see what everyone is pulling up on YouTube. And there it is. So this is the orbit diagram. You can actually hit these little buttons here, and it'll move the whole Comet Elenin and the orbits around. So I have 4 of these pages open. I'm going to go to a date that I already have priorly selected. And this date I have is February 27th, 2010. So the reason we're looking at this date is if you looked back on that date, you would find that that was when Chile had an 8.8 earthquake. And so what is interesting and what people have pointed out on YouTube is Comet Elenin is aligning with the Earth and the Sun. So on that date, so February 27th, 2010, Comet Elenin, the Earth and the Sun are all in a straight line. And that is when Chile had that 8.8 earthquake, and it tilted the axis of the Earth. So it was a major event. And this was when Elenin was 6.041 AU away from the Earth. I had to look up what an AU is, and that's actually an astronomical unit. It is basically the average distance from the Earth to the Sun, and it's about 92 million miles. So 1 AU would be 92 million miles. This is 6.041 AU away from the Earth. So we're going to say 92 million times 6. So it's pretty far away. All right, so the next date to look at then is September 4th. So if you recall, this is the exact date that Christchurch, New Zealand had a 7.2 earthquake. And what you find here is also another alignment. So you see Comet Elenin out here. You see now the Sun is in between the Earth. But the Earth, the Sun, and Comet Elenin, I'll zoom a little bit so you can see the Sun and the Earth. They're in a straight line. And once again, you had an earthquake. This time the distance is 6.257 AU from Comet Elenin to Earth. All right, so the third date we'll look at then is now Earth has swung back around the Sun on March 11th, 2011, and is in between, directly in between Elenin and the Sun. And what you had here is the Japan earthquake, the 9.0 earthquake that hit Japan, and this AU is now only 2.153 from Elenin to Earth. So significantly closer, and really important to note is that Earth is now in between Elenin and the Sun on this date. So I think that has to play a major role in why it was so intense. And doing further research, I found that Elenin is actually comprised of hydrogen cyanide. And so hydrogen cyanide has a couple qualities that you'll want to pay attention to. It has the potential effect of causing the comet to turn more blue, which is interesting if you've studied the Hopi prophecy, where it says that Elenin, or there's going to be a blue star and then a red star. And I'll get into that a little bit more later. But so it has the effect of being able to turn a comet more blue, but the more important effect is hydrogen cyanide can actually, in an electric world, can work as a giant capacitor. So if Elenin is comprised of hydrogen cyanide, it actually can store massive amounts of energy, of electricity. And so at certain alignments and for other reasons, it can release that energy at a moment's notice. So that's what I think is going on. When these alignments occur with the Sun is communicating with Elenin, and it's drawing that energy out of Elenin, and it's crossing the Earth, and it's causing earthquakes. That's what I think is happening. But if you were to listen to what NASA has said, they've said that Elenin is not even worth paying attention to, that it's actually a wimpy comet. But if you compare it to other comets that have made big news from NASA, this comet is coming between us and the Sun, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Whereas other comets they've told us to pay attention to, they're way out, they're beyond Mars. But hey, it's a big deal, pay attention. Yet this one they're trying to downplay, and I think it's because they know how what kind of effects it has on the Earth. That's my humble opinion. So if we now go to some future dates, today is August 26th.